Welcome to Kente Arts Alliance review of Pittsburgh jazz history, past, present, and future. Today we have the pleasure of sitting and talking with Dr. Nelson Harrison. Greetings, Doctor.
Great to be here, Mensah. Always great to be with you.
Yes, sir. So you are a native Pittsburgher?
Not only native Pittsburgher, I'm a native of the Homewood Ruston community.
Okay, right.
So some people call it the hood, but when I grew up, it was mostly Italian.
Neighborhood.
Yeah, the neighborhood. But I went to Crescent Elementary, a few blocks from here. I went to Baxter Junior High at the time, which is where Kappa High started in that building, the first time on Bruston Avenue, from 7th to 9th grade. And then I went to Westinghouse High. I graduated in 1959 from Westinghouse. And the house, yeah. And those were some really great times. But I started my music career when I was 12, my real music career. My aunt was a piano virtuoso who used to be the accompanist for the National Negro Opera Company at the Dawson School of Music. My aunt Finetta Nelson Gordon, her name was. She was my mother's youngest sister. And she played for W.C. Handy, and she played for Marian Anderson. And Ahmed Jamal was a young student at that school, and when he was around 7 or 8 years old, when Madam Dawson was out of town, my aunt would sit for his lessons. She was also in the Westinghouse High Orchestra. She shared the piano bench with Billy Strayhorn. So, you know, there was music. This community just was vibrant with music. That's why so many great musicians came out of this area. And it had nothing to do with school. We learned music in the community, and we played in the school orchestra.
Right.
There was no such thing as music education in the schools during those years. That came much later. So there are people walking around trying to give credit to the Board of Education for teaching all these great jazz people. It had nothing to do with it. In fact, you couldn't get into orchestra if you didn't have private lessons and already have some skills. So we had community schools like we're here at the Afro-American Music Institute, which is a school that represents the kind of schools we had, maybe a dozen schools like that, like this, in this community where you could go and get your lessons and learn your skills. And there were people in the community, mentors were everywhere. So if you wanted music, there were plenty of people that could give it to you. My brother's friends, they were 9th graders, they had a meeting, decided to form a social club. So they looked around the room and said, what are we going to do? They realized that everybody in there played an instrument. They said, why don't we start a band? Okay, that was a good idea. So they decided to start this band. The house that they had the first meeting in is right over on Kelly Street near Kelly and Braddock. It's still standing. So I got in the band with the guys, and my parents knew Warren Watson, who everybody knows as Judge Warren Watson now. He was a great musician. He was in law school at Duquesne at the time. So she called Warren and said, the boys want to start a band. Would you be interested in coaching them? He said, absolutely. So every Friday night, he would bring his professional arrangements and his big bandstands, and he showed us how to do the phrasing and how to play that stuff. You know, I mean, we could read music and stuff. But he showed us the language. And we got to play the Glenn Miller book, and we got to play a lot of stock arrangements, and we got to play some Basie charts and things like that. I was 12 years old. So I remember when we first played 920 Special, I was do. That's a strange melody, boy. That just stuck in my head, you know. And you have these dreams that you'd like to meet these people, and you'd like to grow up and be involved in that kind of thing, you know. Never did I know that 25 years later I'd be in the Basie band playing 920 Special, and I guarantee you we were down in Memphis when he first pulled it out, and I pinched myself. I said, I don't believe this dream came true, man. I'm sitting here with the Count playing 920 Special. Wow.